One thing that stands out to me is the most egregious ill in society that the majority of society is blind to today is the legal slaughter of nearly 1 million babies in the womb every year in America. Since 1973 alone, there have been 63 million legal abortions, meaning 6 times the amount of slaves in a quarter of that time. And the sad thing is that the majority of Americans actually agree with that legislation. And they justify it. And they're callous to it. And they're pride-filled. And they're selfish. And they're a greedy nation. We justify this slaughter because we believe it benefits our society and our own lives. The same justification that was used for slavery. To free the slaves meant there would be a greater hardship for those who own slaves, a hardship for corporations, a hardship for families. And that same reasoning is used today for abortion. So people, they're afraid to speak about it. We don't want to hear about the instruments that are used to tear a baby limb by limb apart and crush their skulls and suck out the pieces of that baby or take it out with instruments. You know, one of the ways that Wilberforce changed the minds and the hearts of England, you know what he would do? He would get them on ships and he would bust them around to slave ships in the bay, and they would smell the stench of death that came from that slave ship. And they would be horrified. Then they would see he would bring the instruments of the little spaces that they would live in for weeks as they were transported across the Atlantic. He would bring chains that they were chained in. And he would say, do you understand the ill treatment that is happening? And when people saw the injustices, their eyes were open and public opinion began to change. You know, if we simply had legislation where some states do, where people were forced to see an ultrasound of the baby they are about to slaughter, the amount of times the abortions decrease after people see the person they're about to slaughter, it decreases drastically. Yet many states, they don't want to legislate that sort of legislation. They don't want people to have truly informed consent. They don't want people to see the true injustice, the deep injustice that is there. They want people to remain blind and not see.